Todd and Abbe worked for 3 months to articulate and publicly share this story of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope. This week on Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke, we welcome guest Todd Berreth. Today, Todd shares his powerful journey of perseverance, determination, and grit. He takes us through the challenges of rebuilding speech, the resilience required to reclaim his passions, and the deep lessons he's learned along the way. Join me as we dive into this story that proves that perseverance isn't just about surviving, but it's about finding new ways to thrive. Thank you for joining us for part 2, Todd Berreth's story.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Hello
and welcome to Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke. Stroke offers a powerful, life-changing shift in perspective. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Beyond Stillness offers a moment of pause for storytelling and reflection. Ultimately, we create a welcoming environment that reveres the moment beyond stroke's paralysis. Still moments unite humanity and divinity. This week's episode is contributed by Abbe Simon, speech-language pathologist, integrative health coach, and yoga teacher. Abbe's private practice, iCommunicare, offers individuals impacted by stroke ways to regain communication and connection. Learn more about iCommunicare at www.icommunicarenc.com. Abbe Simon has been a speech-language pathologist for over 27 years. She uses her passion for helping people with aphasia and her health coaching certification to empower individuals to live a fulfilling life after stroke. She emphasizes that while a stroke can disrupt life, committing to the recovery process can allow a person to rediscover new possibilities. Language includes more than spoken message. Abbe provides a platform for people to tell their stories and connect with others, despite communication obstacles. Storytelling is a tremendous tool that helps people with aphasia improve their communication. Being part of Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke certainly validates that. We are happy to have both Abbe and Todd on our show today. Todd Berreth is an artist, designer, architect, and technologist, and as an assistant teaching professor in the Media Art, Design, and Technology Department at North Carolina State University, he is a member of the Chancellor's Visual Narrative Faculty Cluster. He has presented artwork locally, nationally, and internationally, including ACM SIGGRAPH and Leonardo Art Journal. Todd had a stroke 4 years ago and lives with aphasia and apraxia, and emphasizes that research is key, as is aphasia advocacy. As we begin today, we take a moment of pause to honor wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope that has emerged through recovery. And we give thanks. Now, Todd Berreth's story.
Ever since I was a young boy, growing up in Fargo, North Dakota, I have been known to be hardworking and determined. Now, in my 50s, sharing my story about living after my stroke, determination is more present than ever. My hard work as a student, athlete, and professional has allowed me to excel in many areas of my life. As a family member, keeping close relationships has been important to me. It's hard to imagine when perseverance and determination will be necessary. And I surely never imagined how I'd need to heal my brain and my body from my stroke that I happened out of the blue in 2020. I think it's hard sometimes, but if you do it with determination and purpose and perseverance, you are better in the long run. I could have given up, but I had heart and will for miles. Let me tell you about myself a little bit more and how life before the stroke shaped me to be the person that continues to persevere. As a kid, I read fantasy and science fiction books that allowed me to get caught up in the stories of the people I was reading about. I loved it when the characters worked through their challenges. Having a dad who was an architect, I was exposed to different creations he designed. And I could always tell how hard he worked. It was like he told the story of his clients' ideas. My dad did amazing things like design churches, science facilities, and banks. When I was in high school, I realized that I had an interest in a creative avenue to express myself. I did some sculpture and architectural designs, and I was thinking about being a movie director. I wasn't always glued to a book or designing sculptures. I spent time doing sports too. As a 100-pound high school freshman, I realized being the wide receiver on our football team was short-lived. But I was fast, so I chose cross-country instead and passed that gene onto my son. I loved being part of a team and committing myself to setting new goals, even if they were challenging. When it was time to go to college, I decided to get my interest in running going. I brought me to Carleton College as a Division III runner and a media studies and MART major. When it had been time to go to college, I went to Carleton College as a Division III runner and a media studies and art major. It was clear to me that telling stories through art was the key to my creativity. My college classes and projects included the design of art pieces that had a narrative component to telling fictional stories. While I wasn't writing words to the story, I learned how to use visual design as a powerful form of storytelling and expression. At that time, my girlfriend, who was as my wife, began a midwifery program at the University of Pennsylvania. I went to be with her, and working for a while, I decided that I was going to enroll in a master's program in architecture at UPenn. I was determined to be a successful student who would land a job as an architect at North Carolina, where we raised our 2 children who are now in college. Just as our country was facing a recession in 2008, I was fortunate to land a new job as a research associate at Duke University in the art department. And then later, I worked as an assistant professor in the art and design department at NC State University. My courses focused on visual narratives, and I conducted many research projects. I taught undergraduate and graduate students, and I was working on getting tenure. On December 9th, 2020, I was at home with my wife, Meg, and my 2 kids. It was the afternoon, and I was getting some coffee in the kitchen when I was going out to the hallway area. I fell down and I couldn't get up. There was some tingling on the right side of my left body, but I didn't have any issues with my speech yet. I remember being woozy, and my daughter, Kate, and Meg noticed that I couldn't get up. The ambulance people came and took my vital signs, and it was a fuddling situation to me because I didn't know how it was going to be going on, and it was a concern to me. At this point, I never thought something was going to be going on with my brain. I went to the trauma center and got a CT, and other tests were completed. I was diagnosed with a artery dissection. The doctors told me they were going to fix it with surgery by placing a stent in my carotid artery. I was not aware of what all this meant, as they were prepping me for surgery to get the dissection removed. I had a stroke. Meg might have been scared for me at the time, but I was surely as well. Fortunately, I was in a stroke center hospital, and the surgeon gave me TPA drug for 5 minutes onward to help a lot with breaking up my blood clot that caused my stroke. I didn't get the stent placed after all. And when the stroke happened, I was out of it. 2 days afterwards, I woke up and I had some issues with my speech and something with my paralysis on my right side of my body. It was a awful situation for me, and I didn't know what to do about it, anything about it. Bits and pieces of my memory are coming back to me right now. On the third day onward, in the nighttime, I was getting up for some reason, and my speech was a problem for me still. The second person, my roommate, was a blind person with dementia. And he peed on the bed while I was in it. But speech was an issue for me, so I couldn't say anything about it. My nurses cleaned it up for me. And after that, I moved to another room. Thanks, Meg. My next roommate had COVID, and I had aphasia, and was hard for me still. So my wife spoke up for me. While it was frustrating that I couldn't speak, I was happy to have a hospital room for myself. After 3 or 4 days, I could say yeses and nos, but sometimes I confused them myself. And I started speech therapy as an inpatient, and I was aware of my aphasia. For example, I didn't have any color comprehension, so I mixed the colors up. I would say words that didn't make any sense, so I had a effort to speak at all. It was 6 weeks, so I could say things with purpose. Perseverance was everything to me, and I began to realize that creative meant something very different now. And now, 4 years later, I can say that I never doubted my ability to persist. Perseverance, again, is the key. Sometimes it's hard and painful work, and you persevere and you do better eventually with determination and grit. I regained my ability to run, and Abbe, remember that at the time that we ran together and you couldn't keep up with me? I eventually regained my ability to engage in meaningful conversation, and 1.5 years later, to my recovery process, I envisioned returning to work. I began to focus my recovery on returning to work. My speech therapy focused on role playing that required me to redress my grammar, sentence structures, and taking turns at a conversation. I began to become more confident in work. Returning to work was possible. Perseverance was the key for me. Certainly, I was scared, but I thought research was a good fit because aphasia was a concern for me, and I wouldn't have to talk so much. I was fortunate to have a department chair in an institution that offered me a modified work schedule and an opportunity to co-teach and have smaller classes. I have been at work for 2.5 years, and my current job is an assistant teaching professor. I was always hopeful that I would return to work and do things that love like teaching and research. Now, I record my lectures and then the students watch them and learn from them. Last semester, I used a written lesson for the students to create a 2-minute visual narrative through animation, a fable story. I receive 1 therapy session a week to work on my fluency and communication processes. While aphasia begins to be a struggle some of the time, I've learned that I can still share my thoughts and stories. I realize now that I was busy, too busy, and searching for opportunities to make myself better professionally and personally. I was writing grants and papers or essays and teaching a lot and doing research. I think it was too much to handle, really. Success is a good thing for sure, but what is the sacrifice for it? Achieving it. When is perseverance too much? Later years, I always considered myself more go with the flow. Never losing hope during my stroke journey has allowed me to recognize that some ways my life is better than before. My weekly game night with my brothers has allowed me to be closer together with each other. And that really means a lot to me. My wife and I have a great relationship that still, any kind of relationship has some rough patches, but ours is a little bit extra rough because of aphasia. My kids remain a joy in my life. I'm still a storyteller. Aphasia doesn't limit me from telling my stories of my own and help others to tell theirs. I want to help aphasia patients like games that we should do together going forward. And I will design for them in other narrative experiences. Not everyone lands their dream job out of college. I'm not sure there's such much storytelling going on as being a hardware technician for a computer company. But my creative juices kept flowing, and I was determined to make professional leaps. As a director of academic computing at the Art Institute of Chicago, I was also teaching classes, digital imaging class. This allowed me to teach students how they could make stories come to life through art. It felt good teaching and supporting students to accomplish their creative goals. In the last 4 years, I have required perseverance in a way I could not have imagined. I'm here to tell my story and hope others are reminded that hard work and perseverance, positive change is possible. Thank you so much.
Storytelling empowers us to share our experiences in a way that invites others to reflect on their own. In closing, we offer reflection questions as an opportunity to spark dialogue with yourself, friends, family, and fellow stroke survivors. In a moment, I will read questions aloud. You can also find them written in the podcast episode description. Community conversation prompts. In what ways have you adapted and shifted while remaining focused on your passions? What helps you persevere through challenges?
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Another way to support is to like, share, or subscribe to our weekly show.
Thank you for listening to Part 1, Todd Berreth's story. Stick with us for Part 2, Todd Berreth's interview. Contributed by Abbe Simon, speech-language pathologist, integrative health coach, and yoga teacher. Abbe's private practice, iCommunicare, offers individuals impacted by stroke ways to regain communication and connection. Learn more about iCommunicare at www.icommunicarenc.com. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Recovery is a journey, not a destination. Todd's story is a testament to the power of perseverance, creativity, and determination. Despite challenges of aphasia, he has reclaimed his passions, adapted to new ways of teaching, and continues to inspire those around him. His journey reminds us that progress is possible, even when the path is uncertain. We hope Todd's story leaves you feeling encouraged and empowered. Until next time, keep sharing, keep connecting, and keep moving forward. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, or subscribe and consider donating to Beyond Stillness Stories After Stroke. Remember, as part of the stroke community, you are more than supportive. You are inspirational.